From Serena Williams calling the chair umpire a thief to Nick Kyrgios smashing multiple rackets at a time, here are some of the craziest tennis meltdowns. Starting with the chaos that Novak Djokovic caused during the US Open in 2020. Now, the Serbian and Carreño Busta were locked in a fierce battle in the men's singles round of 16, with Djokovic serving at 5-5 in the first set, but disaster struck. Djokovic was unable to hold serve, and Busta broke through for a 6-5 lead, potentially serving for the set. Frustrated beyond belief, he felt a tantrum coming, and the 22-time Grand Slam champion attempted to hit a stray ball into the empty stands. But wait, it wasn't just any ball, it was a deadly projectile that hit a line judge on the throat. Djokovic immediately rushed to check on her, but the damage was done. A long discussion ensued between the Serbian superstar, the chair umpire, and tournament referee Soren Friemel. And then the unthinkable happened. Carreño was awarded the medal by default, and Noel was disqualified. That's right, folks, the game was over, and Djokovic's dreams of taking home the trophy were shattered. As if that wasn't enough, the United States Tennis Association announced that Djokovic would lose all the ranking points he had earned, which is wild. That's not even the end of it though, because he was also fined the prize money, which was around $250,000 he was entitled to for making the pre-quarter stage. And if you thought that was bad enough, wait till you hear this next one. I'm talking about the Serena Williams US Open saga in 2018. Okay, so the 2018 US Open women's final had everyone on the edge of their seats, as Serena Williams, the heavy favorite, had a chance to tie Margaret Court's Grand Slam singles record title at 24. The stage was set for an epic showdown against Naomi Osaka, a 20-year-old upstart from Japan whose childhood idol happened to be Williams herself. But things took a dark turn for Serena. Chair umpire Carlos Ramos of Portugal called not one, not two, but 3 code violations against Williams. The first for coaching, the second for racket abuse, and the third for verbal abuse. And that's when we got to see one of Serena's biggest meltdowns on the court. The code violations cost Williams a point and a game, and she repeatedly clashed with Ramos, even going as far as to call him a liar and a thief. She demanded an apology, saying, "I don't cheat. You owe me an apology." Williams questioned whether she was being treated unfairly because she was a woman, and of course, all that chaos took a toll on her gameplay, which led to her losing 6-2, 6-4 in a heartbreaking defeat. Also, Osaka went on to make history by becoming the first ever Japanese woman to win the Grand Slam title, and later, Williams hugged Osaka at the net but refused to shake hands with Ramos, demanding an apology from him not once, but twice. Though that's not the only time a tennis player has had beef with the umpire, because Viktor Troicki went through something very similar. Let me take you back to Wimbledon 2016, when Viktor Troicki went on a vintage tennis rant for the ages. The Serbian was locked in a heated battle with Spain's Albert Ramos Vinolas when things went haywire. It was a 5-set defeat for the fiery Troicki after he slipped into match points thanks to a controversial overrule by umpire Damiano Torella. A serve from the Spaniard had been called out, but the decision was corrected, making it an ace. Troicki was having none of it, carrying the ball back to the chair on court 17 and demanding that the official look at it. "No white, look at it," Troicki shouted as he pleaded with the umpire to check for chalk dust. "Come on, please, look at it, once, look at it." But when the umpire didn't budge, all hell broke loose. Troicki screamed, "You're the worst umpire in the world, you're so bad," and received a code violation for his behavior after smashing the ball in question out of the court. He even went on to lambast the official as an idiot in an epic tennis rant that will go down in history. That said, even though what he did was crazy, it was still not as outrageous as the time Nick Kyrgios smashed rackets in 2022. If you remember the drama from the 2022 US Open, you'd know that Nick Kyrgios, the king of on-court outbursts, did not disappoint. in his match against Karen Khachanov. After losing a tight 5-setter that knocked him out of the US Open just before the semifinals, Kyrgios was seething with anger and disappointment. And boy, did he let it show. As soon as he shook the chair umpire's hand, he went on a rampage. He dug into his bag and pulled out multiple rackets, which he proceeded to smash into tiny little pieces. Classic Kyrgios, am I right? But wait, there's more. He wasn't content with just smashing rackets. Oh no, he constantly yelled at his team in the players box, which, mind you, also included his girlfriend, complaining about his sore knee or demanding they give him more support. It was an epic display of frustration and drama that resulted in one of the biggest meltdowns of his career. And this wasn't an isolated event for the Aussie or for Karen, who had seen Nick's wrath before as well. After all, Kyrgios also lost his cool during the 2019 Cincinnati Masters. Now, get ready to hear about the ultimate showdown between Nick Kyrgios and umpire Fergus Murphy at the Cincinnati Masters. This game was one for the books, and it was Kyrgios' most explosive outing to date, with a huge $100,000 fine to boot. The drama started to unfold in the second set as Kyrgios kept bickering with Murphy. After a bathroom break, Kyrgios came back full of rage and fury, but Murphy refused him. The young player's frustration hit its boiling point as he broke not one, but two of his rackets. To add insult to injury, he finished the game by swearing at Murphy before dramatically spitting in his general direction. Jeez. Unfortunately, Kyrgios couldn't keep up with his emotions, and the cool-headed Karen Khachanov ultimately served out a win over the Aussie. Jerzy Janowicz also had one of the most famous meltdowns of all time. The Pole let his emotions get the best of him during a match against Samdev Deverman, and it was a sight to behold. After a line call went against him, Janowicz lost it. He fell to his knees and started screaming, "How many times?" over and over again. And that's not all, folks. He even spat on the court and hit the umpire's chair with his racket. Can you believe it? Now, the screaming might be tolerable, but violence is never allowed, and the world was shocked. The whole thing went viral on YouTube, racking up more than 750,000 views in just 2 days. And while Janowicz may have thought he got off scot-free, he was later hit with a $2,500 fine for his unsportsmanlike conduct. When told about the fine, Janowicz was incredulous. He protested pretty loudly, saying he didn't do anything bad. He also added that he was just shouting, and he shouldn't have been fined that much for screaming. So did he forget about the hitting and the spitting? Oh, Janowicz, you never cease to amaze us. Anyway, that's all I had for you today on some of the craziest tennis meltdowns.